Yeah, what's next?
Okay, so what's next is we're going to go from the sun, the shining perfect day, to a black hole. Because part of the process of clarifying to yourself who you are and how you interact with the world is knowing the good and the amazing, but also knowing the bad and the things you want to avoid. If you have a shining galaxy of values on one hand, there are black holes in it that you want to avoid.
From the very center of a black hole, I'm Amanda Maxim. This is Happiest Man Alive. Find us on the web at happiestpodcast.com. Okay, so I'm not actually recording this from the center of a black hole. It just feels that way. Black holes are what the Happiest Man Alive calls the things, situations, and people in your life that you hate, or that make you feel anxious, fearful, or depressed.
I hate when somebody tells me do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I hate that. It just takes the life out of me, sucks the life out of me when I'm in an environment where I feel like I'm in handcuffs.
The things that go so horribly wrong, it makes you feel sick.
You put out this podcast and you open Twitter and it's horrible. It's ridiculed by people you appreciate. Like, this is bullshit. This is so awful. Amateur. What do you do?
I go and I sit underneath my desk, probably crying and thinking, oh my God, Malcolm Gladwell said what? Or the things that you're afraid of.
What are you afraid of?
My biggest fear is failure. It's like closely related to my second biggest fear, which is ridicule. So something about being fooled. Worst case scenario is you think you did something amazing and then it's the opposite reaction. These are black holes, and this is what the Happiest Man Alive wants me to dive into. I'm an astrophysicist, so I know something about black holes. A black hole is a place where matter is so dense that not even light can escape its strong gravity. The gravity near a black hole is so strong that if you dove in head first, the gravity on your head would be so much greater than the gravity at your feet that you would be stretched out to a line of atoms, 1 atom thick. The process is called spaghettification. And it's my scientific opinion that sounds terrifying. But frankly, talking about my biggest fears on this podcast is like twice as scary. This is supposed to be a podcast about happiness, so why give myself over to the dark side? Unfortunately, I think it's necessary. I'm testing the Happiest Man Alive system of achieving happiness to see if I can get there myself. To get there, I need to learn all about myself. That means not just uncovering the things that I love, but also addressing the things that are holding me back, my black holes. The Happiest Man Alive says at the center of every black hole, every fear, every unexplained sinking feeling, is a positive value that you are protecting. And venturing over into the darkness is a way to light up the things that you really love. In other words, by studying the negative, you illuminate the positive. So, I'm on a mission to dive into my black holes to see if there really is something positive in there. Maybe he's wrong, and I'll find that all my fears are justified. Happiness isn't really possible, and I should just quit right now. Either way, I want to know. That's the whole point of an experiment.
So let's clarify what Amanda's black holes are.
Okay, ready to dive into a black hole? This morning, I definitely wasn't. I wasn't expecting to be bearing my secret, tender soul to the world on my podcast. Instead, I was at the grocery store, where I overheard a man on the phone talking about happiness. And I wanted to call the Happiest Man Alive and tell him about it.
Happy Friday.
Yeah, happy Friday. I overheard someone in the grocery store talking on the phone, and I thought of you. He was talking to someone. Apparently, they were complaining. He said, as long as you're above ground, you're doing okay. That's what he said, to sort of encourage the person. And I thought, yeah, I don't think that would ever come out of your mouth.
Well, there's truth in it, but it's mostly wrong. The truth is that life is the standard of value. As long as you're alive, everything is possible. But I think what he's saying, the attitude is like, just expect to stay alive, nothing more, right? And I say, keep yourself alive to be able to pursue values. And when you do, just run as fast as you can, soar as high as you can, because time is running out. And you'll be under the ground pretty soon. It's going to come. But dream big. Be way above the ground.
The fact that you're going to be underground someday, that actually makes you feel happy, right?
Yes, it gives you the standard. Without it, if people lived forever, nothing would mean anything.
Wow.
Like you wouldn't have any motivation to do anything because you're going to be indestructible. Nothing can hurt you. And without the alternative of death, there's no living. It's a philosophical issue. You have to really dive into it to really understand it, but it's meaningful. Yeah, you're going to be dead soon. That is great because it gives meaning to the life you're going to have between now and then.
Okay, that's a good quote. Next time I see him in the grocery store, I'll tap him on the shoulder and I'll say, "You're going to be dead soon." That's great.
Now, what are you going to do about it?
What am I going to do about it? I'm going to ask the happiest man alive what my next assignment is. Last time we talked about my value galaxy, and that was really good because I learned a lot about, who I am as a person, reflected in the things that I love about life. But I'm wondering, what's next?
We need to go to the dark side. There's the good things, the things you love, but we also want to really investigate the things that generate negative emotions, because the world of bad emotions is a very interesting domain, and we need to fully understand what I call protective emotions, not negative emotions. I call them protective emotions. And I spent a lot of time dealing with that because I had a lot of negative emotions about myself, responses to things, a lot of anxieties of major changes in my life. I had an anxiety about money, and what I found is that if you do the black hole galaxy, that could expose a lot of other values in your life and explain a lot of things that are happening in your emotional world, like why am I responding so negatively to that person or that environment? And diving into that to understand what really matters to you, we can find things that are rationally important to you, and we can also find irrationality in our evaluations, like you're afraid or you're anxious with no real reason. And in that case, we need to do a little bit of work to change those thoughts.
Okay, so basically, in order to be happy, I need to start examining my negative emotions. We begin small by looking into what I'm calling mini black holes, the kind you can hold in your hand. You find them by identifying the things that trigger negative emotions. Once you find these mini black holes, you can pick them up, look into their center, and see what these negative emotions are protecting. That's how you'll find out what's important to you. And what's important to you is a reflection of who you are. He made a worksheet so you can start here too. Download it at happiestpodcast.com/blackholes.
Let's take something that you respond negatively to.
I mean, some of these I think are going to be pretty obvious.
Give me the obvious. What does Amanda hate?
I hate spiders.
Why?
Why? Oh, they're nasty. Mostly it's just that I'm afraid of them, and that's what I don't like.
I don't think something needs fixing. It's quite natural and normal to be afraid of spiders. Maybe not to the point of a phobia, right? But so tell me a little bit about activities that make you feel bad, anxious, people, environments. Yeah.
I don't like California.
What is it about California?
It's crowded. There's people everywhere. You can't ever get space to yourself.
The sense of freedom, space that you want, right?
Yep.
Okay. So that's one thing. What do you hate wasting time on?
I hate wasting time on paperwork, forms, like filling in forms. I don't believe in hell, but if I did, it would be like a rickety old desk, one of those pens that you get at the doctor's office with the big flower taped to it, and then there would be forms for you to fill out.
But it tells you, so the opposite of it is like you need a creative environment. You can't be doing this red tape work is the opposite of what?
Yeah, I guess it's the opposite of a blank page. So, I mean, that's kind of funny because I like to take notes and do a lot of writing, but the piece of paper has to be blank. I hate lined paper. It's like I don't want the lines on there telling me what goes where.
I go wherever I want.
That's right. Okay, so far, I've learned a lot about the things that are important to me by looking at these mini black holes. I don't like my automatic reaction to spiders because I want to be in control of myself. Crowded California means I crave wide open spaces, privacy, being alone. My hatred of forms reminds me how much I love the open possibilities of a blank page. or an open microphone. I will definitely use this knowledge to my advantage. But so far, the stakes have been kind of low. If I'm taking this experiment seriously, I need to dive into a supermassive black hole and study something that I'm really afraid of. That should reveal two things. First, I should discover something that's very, very important to me. If I want to be happy, I need to know those things. Second, I need to dive into a big black hole to see if my fear reaction is rational or not. Irrational negative reactions and fears, those are going to hold me back. I'll be like the astronaut who's afraid to step onto the moon. I can't have that. Unfortunately, I know the perfect supermassive black hole to jump into. Okay, take a deep breath, Amanda. We're going in.
Okay, we had a problem here. This is Houston. Say again, please.
Your system is
We had a problem. Mr. Main vehicle.
severe damage.
Okay, stand by 13. We're looking at it. Okay, right now, Houston, the voltage is...
It took me years to understand this. If you have a motivation from love and not a motivation by fear, then everything is much, much clearer.
What if you are afraid, though? How do you deal with that?
About what?
I don't know. It's a fear of failure, of I don't know, all sorts of things that could go completely totally wrong.
Okay, let's take it one by one. I want to go deep on this. Okay, I'm not gonna give up. I want to go deep on this. What are you afraid of? Failure. Let's take failure.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Let's go hit failure on the head.
Okay. Let's just go ahead and talk about my biggest fear. Failure. Amateur. What are you thinking? You have no training.
Because time is running out, and you'll be under the ground. You'll be under the ground pretty soon.
You should be embarrassed that you're a joke, silly girl.
It's not going to succeed anyway.
This is a silly dream. You can't keep up.
Let's
you are
go.
and will always be mediocre.
Let's go hit failure on the head.
I want to do something great.
Failure. Failure.
But what if this podcast sucks?
Okay. Let's talk about failure.
Let's talk about failure. In the course of making this podcast, a supermassive black hole has come up for me. I'm afraid to publish it. I'm afraid it's not going to be any good, that I think I can be great at it, but it's clear that I actually can't be. I'm afraid I'll just be someone to laugh at, and not because I'm funny. These thoughts have been plaguing me, and honestly, make me want to give up and quit making this podcast. I'm going to go on a walk and think about it. From the cemetery near my house, I'm Amanda Maxim. This is Happiest Man Alive. I'm out on a walk, and I'm thinking about this podcast, and this is a good place to think about failure. I like to come here and look at the graves and make up stories about who's buried here. All these people had their chance at life. Looking at the graves here makes me feel anxious. I'm afraid I'll end up in here without doing anything great with my life.
Awesome. You have this gift that a lot of people don't, of believing that they can do something great.
Yeah, right now it doesn't feel like such an amazing gift. Kind of feels like turmoil. Truth be told, I've taken this walk many times, and I've edited this episode many times. I don't know how to move forward. I don't think it's good enough. I think it's too long and boring and unfocused. I haven't been able to solve this problem in at least 8 months. The Happiest Man Alive says that you should look inside of a black hole to see the value, the thing that you're protecting. But now that I'm inside, I find it's just too big, too powerful, and too dark in here. Basically, I'm stuck inside of a black hole, which is astrophysically speaking about the worst thing that can happen to you. I really am afraid to publish it.
I don't think there's an answer to the question, what are you afraid of?
Because it doesn't exist?
Yes. The only thing that exists, Amanda, is you're going to be dead in about, 50, 60 years?
Yeah, well, that makes me feel pretty anxious, actually.
Why? That's the difference. I was anxious about that so much. But today it energizes me. It's like, wow, I need to run faster.
So, what's worse? Getting here and regretting that I never took a chance on myself and the thing that I love? Or is it better just to be comfortable, keep going along as I am, not have to face the fear that I might be a failure, maybe go back to teaching?
So remember the guy in the store that talked about just keeping above ground, right?
Yeah.
Just think about the fact that if you really hold on to this fear of ridicule and failure, it's inevitable that you have to lower your standards all the way to just stay alive. Yeah, think about why people don't open their own companies, don't go on their own. Yeah, I'll wait with my dream another decade and then they die. What's stopping them? Them. There's nothing really stopping them.
Yeah. If I let the fear of failure and ridicule control me, then I'm putting everybody else in the world and what they might think about my work above me. I'm putting them in charge of my life. I'm also afraid to take the chance on this podcast. Why? I don't know what it is that I need. I don't know what's in this black hole.
One of the things you can do is to just jump into the black hole. See what happens. Write all the worst case scenarios. You're like a massive failure, and what happens to Amanda after she fails in trying something she really wants.
Okay.
Let's analyze it next time.
So basically, imagining the worst.
Yeah.
All right, the sun's going down. See you later, dead people. It's been real. I've got to go home and think about some horrible scenarios. So, what's so scary about publishing a podcast? The Happiest Man Alive says that it's as if I have a 4-year-old inside of my head, and this little Amanda doesn't want me to get hurt emotionally. And she's afraid that if I publish the podcast and everybody hates it, I will get hurt emotionally. On the other hand, if I chicken out and don't publish it, I'll never have the chance to be good at it. And on top of all that, thinking about this makes my insides feel tingly and sinky. The way out of this black hole? Let the 4-year-old Amanda imagine all of the worst case scenarios to see if they're actually scary. So I wrote about the worst day ever. And I can't wait to call the Happiest Man Alive and tell him about it.
Hey, Amanda.
Hello.
Are you a line of atoms now?
Yeah, I got sucked into the black hole.
Spaghettified?
I was severely spaghettified.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about the black holes.
Basically, you gave me an assignment where I should imagine the worst. What were you trying to make me realize by imagining the worst?
Let's see. Let's hear a scenario.
Okay, so I decided, well, why don't I just imagine the worst day ever?
Yeah.
I'm sure I could imagine something even worse than this, where the whole world explodes.
You're being tortured.
Yeah, but I wanted it to be at least something I could imagine happening. I wake up very early in the morning to a lot of loud noises. My small room is so cluttered that I have a hard time moving around. The piles of books and other things. I should really get rid of them, but I can't because I might have an anxiety attack if I do. And I think, what if I need these things? And then it's easier just to step over them. I get in the shower, but there's no more shampoo. Like the hot water runs out because I was so busy and stressed out that I forgot to buy more shampoo and pay the bills. Things are just generally so disorganized that I can't find a pair of matching socks. Where do I wake up? I live in Southern California. I have to drive a really long distance in heavy traffic to get to my job. And when I get to my job, I'm crammed in a little tiny cubicle and I have a job filling out forms. Mm-hmm. And to make it even worse, I have to dress up in uncomfortable clothes to do this job, although nobody really sees me anyway. And the people in the cubicles next to me talk really loudly about stupid things all day long. Mm-hmm. And then, in the evenings, I go to another job teaching. I took this job for the money, and the students can tell. And at the end of the semester, a video of my horrible teaching gets leaked onto the internet, and I make national news, and everybody in the whole the whole world is laughing at me for days. And then on top of that, not only do I not like the job, but then I get fired for not doing a good job at the job that I don't like.
Okay, so I heard amazing things. I don't know about your horrible day, but it's the only thing that really is a black hole in everything you mentioned is that issue of humiliation. Let's look into this eye of Sauron. How is it called?
Yeah, the eye. You're not supposed to look in there because then he can see you.
Yeah, let's look in. Don't be afraid. Okay, so let's dive into this fear of failure and humiliation. Okay. Let's create a real scenario. Like you put out this podcast and you open Twitter and it's horrible. It's ridiculed by people you appreciate. Like, this is bullshit. This is so awful. Amateur. What do you do?
I go and I sit underneath my desk.
Okay, and
What do you do when something like that happens?
I don't know. No, it's your black hole. It's not mine. Okay, so you sit under the desk. What are you thinking?
I don't know. I'm probably crying and thinking, oh my God, Malcolm Gladwell said what?
Okay. And so 5 hours pass by and your back starts aching from sitting beneath the desk. What happens next?
So probably, I mean, if Malcolm Gladwell hated it, that's actually pretty interesting. And I would probably want to figure out why.
What do you think will happen if Malcolm Gladwell actually took the time to say that your podcast is horrible?
I think a lot of people will probably have listened to it.
Okay. And what is the probability that most people will hate it if you think it's perfect? Like, honest opinion.
50%.
Great. So 50% of the traffic that Malcolm Gladwell generated for you, being so kind to criticize your podcast, love it. So the 4-year-old girl, Amanda, has just created this fantasy in her head that she's going to fail miserably to the point where she has to lie down beneath the desk for hours and cry.
Yeah.
Okay? I didn't see any horrible scenario here. Let's make it even worse. Can you think about something worse?
Even worse is, okay, I told you this horrible job, and I managed to eke out some hours here and there to work on the podcast, and I could create this thing. I think it's amazing. I take all the steps necessary when I'm finished to publish it. I enter the RSS feed, and all I have to do now is hit the return button. But I talk myself out of it. Like, I can't do it. I'm too afraid what people will think. And like many months later, a policeman like climbs over some boxes and discovers a skeleton in here with like the bony finger hovering above the enter button.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not going to happen.
Like, you think they'll discover me before I turn into a skeleton?
Just described another fantasy. You see, what I wanted to tell you, Amanda, that you cannot really create that horrible world that necessitates this level of anxiety. You're not pressing the enter button and you're not going all in on your podcast because of the 4-year-old. And the 4-year-old is there to imagine fantasies that you cannot even validate. The two scenarios you just described are, just ridiculous, right? They're not going to happen. The first one was actually good. You just had Malcolm Gladwell creating good traffic to your podcast. And the other one, you're not going to be a skeleton in a box with your finger kind of hanging over the enter button. That's not going to happen. Let me read to you what I wrote down as you were saying. You don't like noise. You want a quiet environment. You don't like clutter. You like space and organization. You don't want a repetitive, boring, red tape environment. You want creativity. You don't like to be stuck in traffic. You like comfort. You don't want people to ignore you. You want to have visibility. You don't want boring people. You want interest. You're doing teaching because of the money. You want to do something for creativity. You don't want to be ridiculed. You want to be proud. You don't want to be humiliated. You want to be praised. Those are all negatives, and this is great. And they're so beautiful in your case because they just shine more light on your values. But the fear of failure, I think, is a different type of black hole. It's a black hole that you need to deal with, which is to stop that 4-year-old girl from telling you what to do at all. Just don't slap her in the face because she'll slap you back. Talk nicely to her and say, you're making up stories. They're nice stories, fantasies with dragons and all, and skeletons in boxes, but it's not going to happen. So I'm not going to listen to you telling me that I'm going to fail or going to be end up below the desk.
Okay, so maybe not so scary. But I still haven't found a positive reason to make this podcast hiding inside of the black hole. Isn't it better just to not publish it? If I never publish it, I'll never fail. If it's no good, no one will ever know. And if I say it doesn't matter and I don't care, then I don't have to feel bad when nobody listens. But that's a lie. I do care, and I do want to do a good job.
Do you think you'll succeed? Meaning, if you put out this podcast, will it be a success?
Do I think thousands and thousands of people will listen to it and take value from it? It doesn't seem likely. There are 2 million podcasts.
Okay, so most probably you'll put out this podcast that you put your heart and soul into it, and nothing big will happen. So why do it? It's not going to succeed anyway. Let's say the podcast is mine. What would you tell me?
If this was your podcast, I'd give you this message. Do it. Go for it. It's the most important thing. Not because of who is listening, or if they'll love it or hate it. If you do an amazing job, of course people will love it. But even if it never reached anyone, even if you're the only one in the whole universe that likes it, still make it. Because you love listening to it. When you're at your little closet desk recording your words, you get to create your own world and paint it in sound. And you get to invite everyone who's going to love you into that world. All they have to do is close their eyes and listen. Even the thought of that is exciting to you. It's perfect. Make it for yourself. That's what I would tell you if this was your podcast.
Look, Amanda, I'm really anxious about someone making fun of it.
Let them make fun. It's really easy to make fun of something and to seem smart when you make fun of something. Maybe they're protecting something themselves, like they didn't ever have to put their heart out there. It's a lot harder to honestly love something and to say why it's good. And so, yeah, there are going to be people that make fun of it. Focus on the people who have taken you seriously and reflect good things back to you. If we look for the positive here, it's that I want to do a good job.
Exactly. Because what you are protecting is your work. And even deeper than that, your self-esteem. So your self-esteem and your work and your productivity and creativity is critical to you. And that's what you're trying to protect.
If you're hearing the sound of my voice, that means I did it. Not only did I dive into a black hole and live to tell about it, but I also hit the publish button. Astrophysically speaking, nothing has ever emerged from a black hole. But I have. And I discovered that at the center of this black hole is something valuable. It's this podcast. My fear of failure was protecting this, my beloved work. I want to achieve things that are meaningful and real. And if what I want is meaningful and real, that has to mean that I could fail. And not just that, I will fail, pretty much guaranteed. I'll make mistakes, be unaware of something I should be considering, go the wrong direction with a story and have to scrap months of work just to start again. Basically, all the things that happen when you're making something great. It's not going to be easy or automatic. If it was, it wouldn't be fun.
You hear all the great success stories out there. They tell you exactly the same thing. Fail, 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 and then succeed. Keep going at it. Keep trying. Don't let go. Don't give up.
And this isn't going to be the last black hole I encounter on my happiness quest.
Because you're carrying weights, emotional weights, expectations, morals, fears, anxieties that you've accumulated for 40 years.
But I'll dive into every one. Sometimes it's going to feel like I'm jumping off a cliff. Like right now, for example. But the happiest man alive has felt like that too.
And when I left my golden cage job as a VP in a 22,000 people company, I felt like I'm committing suicide, right? Or jumping off a cliff. All the bells and whistles inside my head were like on red alert because Tal is doing something completely stupid.
Yeah.
And I said, screw it, I'm just gonna jump and do it. And whatever happens, happens. And nothing happened. I remember 3 months later, just looking back, it's like, what was I thinking?
I'm going to jump too, because there's going to be moments that are going to make it all worth it. What was the moment where you knew you had turned?
I think the moment when I read a sentence, as long as I'm alive, I can pursue values. Reading that sentence was like the doors have opened and I saw the light. It's just that's exactly what it is. I'm going to die soon and that's the end of it. And as long as I'm alive, I can pursue those things. Why am I wasting my time? Concerned, afraid, thinking about what other people think. It's not the important thing. What's important is the moments of living.
And finally, I hope this podcast gives you the courage to jump into your black holes and go after what you really want.
I don't know, I'm blabbering right now, but it's that's what I want to tell you, that it shouldn't be that complicated. It should be do what you love and figure out exactly what it is. Do what you love.
That's it.
You've been listening to Happiest Man Alive. This podcast is produced by me, Amanda Maxim. Thank you, Don Watkins. Find us on the web at happiestpodcast.com. I'd say like the grossest thing about a spider is that it eats other insects. I mean, that's like I can't imagine how gross that is. It's like, not only am I an insect myself, but I'm gonna like tear up and eat another insect. It's horrible.
We eat other mammals.
That doesn't bother me. Music and sound were by Poddington Bear, Dreddle, Burning Mere, Claxburr, PGA Meert, Ayut Paris 8, Little Rainy Seasons, JJ Wallace, NASA, Urki 69, Bryce 835, Gadzooks, Lothar Helgeson, Stereo Surgeon, Reacthor, Deathsip, Sounds Exciting, Deleted User 88035393, Yetcop, Johnson Brand Editing, STK13, Devern, Shut Up Outcast, Static Pony 1, Mativ, and Tebow.
But what do you think is the likelihood of you publishing something and someone making fun of it?
I think it's like 100%.
Okay.
If you love this podcast, send it to somebody that you think is special. Thank you. Oh, and hello to Malcolm Gladwell, who is definitely not listening and hating this podcast. Right? Okay, see you in season 2. That's it. You can hang up now.